GF was over at my place 2 days ago. We're both 20. She has a stepbrother who's 23. Before this I'd only met him a few times and he seemed like a regular dude. She asked if it was okay for him to come over too for a couple of hours. I said why not. He said he would get booze and pizza, and my parents were away visiting relatives for the weekend, so I figured we could shoot the shit. I have a little sister who's 15. They came over, and she stayed up in her room the entire time. We were all a bit tipsy and my GF's stepbrother asked if he could use the washroom. I pointed him to the one down the hall. My GF and I were preoccupied and didn't even realize how much time he was taking until we heard raised voices upstairs. We immediately went up to check what was going on and found my sister crying. Dude had gone up instead of using the washroom. My sister's door had been ajar, so he apparently walked into her room. All details I managed to wrangle from my crying sister, by the way. She was taken by shock and was trying to stay calm, but he wasn't leaving. He was trying to chat her up. She told him to GTFO and he closed the door behind him instead, which is why she started freaking out. She tried to get past him to open the door and he grabbed her, but she managed to open it anyway. I'd reached the landing by then, so he backed off. Obviously I was super fucking pissed. There was a lot of screaming going on, lots of accusations. We were all drunk except for my sister. After getting the story from her, GF's stepbrother was stuttering and deflecting. I'm pretty sure I threatened violence at some point. My GF was trying to be the mediator. She said I had to calm down and couldn't fly off the handle based off word of mouth. But I was there. I saw my sister crying in panic. I know what she's like and I know she wouldn't lie about something like this. Why would she? I told her stepbrother to get out of my house. My GF kept saying we could sort this out and have a proper conversation, but I didn't see what conversation was there to be had. Eventually she said what if my sister was lying? In front of my sister's face. I asked her what on earth would make her think that, and she said she's a kid and could be making it up for attention. Like the title said, I lost my shit. I told her to get the fuck out and afterwards she kept calling me, but I ignored everything. The dust has settled a bit. I went over everything again with my little sister. She promised me it had happened the way she was telling me. She told me she was scared he was going to saw her. My GF texted me this morning saying I shouldn't have raised my voice like that and I scared her. I thought of apologizing then, but she still hadn't said a word about apologizing to my sister or addressing the issue with her stepbrother. I only replied that we had to talk, and she said there's nothing to talk about, there's no hard proof, in her words. And the stepbrother ended up doing nothing, so she told me she would deal with him, and I should drop it. IDK if I'm the asshole for the way I handled this. Maybe if cooler heads prevailed this silent treatment wouldn't have happened and we could have discussed everything. IDK what to do from now on either. I love that girl, I don't want us to be over, so I want some advice on where to go from here too. My GF asked me yesterday if we could talk in person. I agreed. We met at a public park. She showed up already looking on the verge of tears. She let me speak and was silent for a long time, before she said she was sorry for the way she had reacted. She told me she had been drunk and panicked and hadn't been thinking clearly, and was trying to stop it from becoming a fight. We discussed her stepbrother. She told me he has a weird streak and acts oddly sometimes. She told me he genuinely could have made a mistake and didn't mean any harm. I asked why he'd gone upstairs in the first place, and why he'd shut himself in with my sister on finding out he was in the wrong room. No answer. I asked how was she so sure he had no perverted intentions. No answer. Some of you suggested that the stepbrother might have had a history and even might have done something to her. I didn't outright say it, but I was implying it. I kept saying what if he had gone further, what if he's assaulted someone before and you don't know about it, etc. I asked if there had been incidents like this before, and how she could possibly downplay what happened. She didn't have anything to say, but again, at that point she was too choked up to speak properly, so I don't think she could have answered even if she wanted to. Anyways, I wasn't there to listen to excuses or justifications, and I told her that. She asked me if we were over, and I said the only way we could move forward was if she apologized to my little sister, and then stopped all contact with her stepbrother. I just don't see a scenario where my sister feels comfortable around him again. She told me she didn't want to lose me, but she couldn't do what I asked from her. So I told her yes, we're done. My parents came back this morning BTW. Like I said, they had been out of town at relatives' place. I hadn't told them about this over the phone. I just said an incident had happened and I would explain when they got back. My sister asked me to speak to them on her behalf and I told them everything. My dad gave me a lot of shit, rightfully so. He says he wants to speak to my ex's parents about this. Let them know what their son did. Police here are about as useful as tits on a bull, but we discussed it and we're going to file a report. I highly doubt it will go anywhere, but at least it will be a record in the system. My sister is doing better. She was really shaken up. She asked if she could sleep in my parents' room or mine for a bit. We will probably arrange a therapy or counseling session for her, and let her decide if she wants to continue. I'm going to take her bowling and then we'll get food. Just the two of us, so I can also apologize on my part. I feel upset. I feel guilty actually. I trusted my ex and me being naive put my little sister in danger. I've always thought I was a responsible person, and this happening when I was supposed to be in charge is fucking me up. I'm pissed at myself NGL. But we move. My favorite comments to read were the ones telling me what to do to the stepbrother. I don't ever want to see his face again, but in case I do, someone let me know if you have a woodchipper lying around. Thanks again everybody. Edit. Some things. People have asked if I can run a background check or something. I don't think it's legal for a civilian to do that in my country, Portugal, and IDK. If I can request one, I'll see though. Also to everybody commenting about underage drinking. I was so confused. That's not a problem here LMAO. I won't be incriminating myself or anything by filing a report, so DW.